Um, and thank you all for being here, and I hope we have a good evening. I'm going to do some old music and then some older music. I'm actually going to do some new music, believe it or not. But things have changed. You know how when you get older. I have to wear these just in case I forget the words and have to have a little help. Oh, thank you. Oops. Somebody's knocking, should I let him in? Lord, it's the devil, would you look at him? I heard about him, but I never dreamed he'd have blue eyes and blue jeans. Somebody's talking, he's whispering to me. Your place or my place, now which will it be? I'm growing weaker and he's coming on strong, and I don't want to be wrong. He must have tapped my telephone line. He must have known I was spending my time alone. He says we'll have one heavenly night. My fever's burning, so he ought to feel right at home. Somebody's knocking, should I let him in? Lord, it's the devil, would you look at him? I heard about him, but I never dreamed he'd have blue eyes and blue jeans. He must have tapped my telephone line. He must have known I was spending my time alone. Somebody's knocking. Somebody's knocking. Somebody's knocking. Thank you. That's a Terry Gibbs song from, I think, the 80s. Probably the early 80s, too, and not the 1880s. I do some old songs, but not quite that old. This song was written, the next two songs were written by Willie Nelson. And I know he's recorded some of them, a lot of songs, and he's written a zillion songs, as well as a lot of other talented people. But I've always just loved this song. Well, hello there. My, it's been a long, long time. How am I doing? I guess I'm doing fine. It's been so long now, and it seems that it was only yesterday. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away? How's your new love? I hope she's doing fine. I heard you told her you love her till the end of time. Now that's the same thing that you told me, seems like just the other day. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away? Well, I got I guess I'll see you around. I don't know when though I'll be back in town. Just remember what I tell you, that in time you're gonna pay. And it's surprising how time slips away. Gee, ain't it funny how time slips away? Thank you. Thank you. This next song, it was also written by Willie Nelson, and I'm sure he's sung it from time to time, but Patsy Cline is the one who made a hit out of this one. And then a lot of people have done it since. But when she got the song, I think her producer brought it to her. She didn't like it, so she wasn't going to do it. And he kept pushing her, and finally she started working on it, and she changed the whole tempo of the song, and it became a huge hit called Crazy. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering, what in the world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. I'm crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for crying, crazy for trying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Thank you. This next song was written by Dolly Parton, who I greatly admire, not only for her beautiful voice and her songwriting ability, but she's just a great lady. She gives a lot, and I understand she's the richest female vocal star in all time. So she's written a zillion songs, and this is one of my very favorites. And that's what I'm doing tonight, is like just the songs I want to do. So if you don't like it, that's tough. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Now I can easily understand, you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him even though you can. Now you can have your choice of men. I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene. Had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him even though you can. Jolene, Jolene. Thank you. I have to wet my whistle a little bit. It's surprising how dry your mouth gets when you're a little nervous and in front of all these people. And hoping I don't forget the words. I have to thank my musician friends, Will Johnson is back there. He usually plays with me, but it didn't work out this time. So thanks to these people that I play music with, they teach me a lot of tricks because I'm not all that great on the guitar. I can play rhythm guitar, but if it's kind of an odd chord, I don't even try it. But they've taught me lots of little ways to kind of cheat. Rather than using all the fancy bar chords and whatnot, and Will has been so helpful. We played a lot of music together, and I have another story to tell you about him after a while. And it's a good story. But he helped me learn this song on the guitar. I've always liked to sing it, but I never could play it. So now you say you're lonely. You cry the whole night through. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I've cried a river over you. Now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river, cry me a river. I've cried a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head, while you never shed a tear. Remember, I remember all that you said. Told me love was too plebeian, told me you were through with me, and now you say you love me. Well, just to prove you do, come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I've cried a river over you. You drove me, nearly drove me out of my head, while you never shed a tear. Remember, I remember all that you said. Told me love was too plebeian, told me you were through with me, and now you you say you love me? Well, just to prove you do, come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I've cried a river over you. I've cried a river over you. I've cried a river over you. Thank you. I don't remember. I think I have who wrote this, but I've never heard of them before. Danny Dill and Mary John Wilkin. I don't know. They just, and I always thought this was a true story, but then I found out when I was researching it that it's not a true story. They just made it up for some reason. And it's called Long Black Veil. And I heard many people do it. Lefty Frizzell was the first one to make a hit out of this song. That was a long time ago. But I always thought a man had to sing it, but then I heard Rosanne Cash do it, so I thought, well, if she can do it, I can do it. 10 years ago, on a cold, dark night, there was someone killed 'neath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all did agree that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it meant my life, for I'd been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The scaffold was high and eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. Ooh. Thank you very much. This next song is a modern song, believe it or not. Modern, like just very recent. And I do a lot of YouTubing, just looking around for different things. And I just happened to run across this one day, and it's written and performed by the Bellamy Brothers. And some of you may remember them from, I think, the 90s. They were kind of country rockish, young, two brothers, and really very talented. And John Anderson sat in with him and did part of this song too, but it really means something to me because first time I heard it, I thought of my old friends who all say the same thing. We don't like modern country music. It's not country. Am I right? Right. So I thought of my boss, who we commiserate about this a lot, RL. Wake up. Anyway, so I thought of him right away. And but it's a cool song, and it's called "There Ain't No Country Music for Old Men." They told him to just fade away. His time had passed, all his kind was dying. But he remembers when Hank played the Opry high as a kite, while Patsy Cline was out walking after midnight. He saw the torch being passed from Lefty to Merle. Now there's so-called successors, but it's hard to find a hero in this world. There ain't no country music for old men. All the good ones have died or just packed it in. Now there's posers and losers, would-be outlaws who only know how to pretend. But there ain't no country music for old men. He was sitting on a bar stool the first time he heard Jolene, a song by the prettiest angel he'd ever seen. Back when Nashville was swinging and making them deals, while old Buck was out strolling the streets of Bakersfield. There ain't no country music for old men. All the good ones have died or just packed it in. Now there's posers and losers, would-be outlaws that only know how to pretend. But there ain't no country music for old men. Loretta and Conway and Jones and Tammy Wynette, songs about prisons and passion and whiskey, and that's as good as it's ever gonna get. They call him nostalgic with a permanent case of the blues. He just walks around wondering who's gonna fill their shoes. Looking back on the great ones we've lost, he says, why so soon? He shed an ocean of tears on the graves of Johnny and Jude. There ain't no country music for old men. All the good ones have died or just packed it in. Now there's posers and losers, would-be outlaws, and only know how to pretend. But there ain't no country music for old men. And there ain't no country music for old women. That's a fun song. If you get a chance, look it up on YouTube. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good little video. And John Anderson, of course, he has a great voice. And the Bellamy Brothers did too. So it's kind of neat. I mean, and they show them, modern day, so they look like us. This is another song that's fairly new. I think it's been out a couple of years. It's a Chris Stapleton song, and he put out a new album. I think it was about a couple of years ago, maybe not quite that long, but this is number one, and it's called "Starting Over," and it's got a nice sentiment. It's a good song, and if you do listen to any modern radio station, you've probably heard it. But if you don't, this will be the first time. Now the road rolls out like a welcome mat to a better place than the one we're at. I ain't got no kind of plan, but I've had all this town I can stand. I got friends out on the coast. We can jump in the water and see what floats. We've been saving for a rainy day. Let's beat the storm and be on our way. It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I want to be. And honey, for once in our life, let's take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover, starting over. This might not be an easy time. There's rivers to cross and hills to climb. Some days we might fall apart, and some nights might feel cold and dark. Nobody wins afraid of losing, and the hard roads are the ones we're choosing. Someday we'll look back and smile and know it was worth every mile. It don't matter to me, wherever we are is where I want to be. And honey, for once in our life, let's take our chances and roll the dice. I can be your lucky penny, you can be my four-leaf clover, starting over, starting over. Thank you. This is a Luke Bryan song, and he's a modern guy. You've heard of him? Okay, good. But he did this a few years ago, and I love this song from the get-go. The tune but the words just really caught me because I've always thought most people in the world, no matter who they are or where they're from, are good. They're good people. They just want to live their lives and raise their kids and watch their grandkids grow up. And so I don't know if he wrote this. I assume he did, but I didn't look it up. But it's called I Believe Most People Are Good. I believe kids ought to stay kids as long as they can. Turn off the screen, go climb a tree, get dirt on their hands. I believe we gotta forgive and make amends, 'cause nobody gets a second chance to make new old friends. I believe in working hard for what you got, even if it don't add up to a hell of a lot. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under neon or stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe those streets of gold are worth the work, but but I still want to go, even if they were paved in dirt. I believe that the youth is spent well on the young, 'cause wisdom in your teens would be a lot less fun. I believe if you just go by the nightly news, your faith in all mankind would be the first thing you lose. I believe most people are good, most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under neon or stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. And I do believe most people are good. Thank you. Some of you, I've talked to you since I got back from my trip. Some of you don't know me, but most of you do. I have a son and a daughter-in-law and 2 grandchildren that live in Czech Republic, of all places. So I hadn't been there for over 2 years, of course. Everybody knows why. So I went in August, and I was there for a little over 3 weeks, and I had a great time. My grandkids are almost 10 and almost 8, a boy and a girl, and they're the lights of my life. So I was so happy to see them, and I think they were happy to see me. I hope so. But I always like to do a song for Alex and Julia, my grandkids. So this is dedicated to them. You'll recognize this song. When I was a little bitty girl just up off of the floor, we used to go down to Grandma's house every month or so. We'd have chicken pie and country ham, homemade butter on the bread. But the best darn thing about Grandma's house was a great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 40 lemon geese, took a whole but cloth for the tick. And it'd hold 8 kids, 4 hound dogs, and a piggy we'd stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. After supper, we'd sit around the fire, the old folks spit and chew. Pa would talk about the farm and the war, and Gran'd sing about it or two. While I'd sit and I'd listen, I'd watch the fire, there the cobwebs filled my head. Next thing I know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 40 lemon geese, took a whole both cloth for the tick. And it'd hold 8 kids, 4 hound dogs, and a piggy I'd stole from the shed. Didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Well, I love my ma and I love my pa, I love Granny and Grandpa too. I've been fishing with my uncle and I wrestled with my cousin and I even kissed Aunt Lou. If I ever had to make a choice, I guess it ought to be said that I'd trade them all, plus a boy down the road for the great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide and soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 40 lemon geese, took a whole book cloth for the tick. And it'd hold 8 kids, 4 hound dogs, and a piggy we'd stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. I should also say hello to my cousin Janie and her husband Larry. I know they're watching because this is being streamed live. So I'm sure that Janie, my cousin in Kansas City, remembers going to our grandma's house, and she did have feather beds. I don't have one, but she did have, and she made her own. They had chickens and ducks and I don't know, geese, but she made her own feather tick pillows, and I had one for years, but it finally gave up the ghost. So anyway, hello Janie and Larry. Anybody else is watching out there in TV land? Okay, most everybody here knows the story of my life. At least the parts I can tell in public. when I was 15, we moved, one of many, many times, and we moved to in the country up in Colorado in a little farm town, and I didn't know anybody. I was 15, couldn't drive, didn't know a soul. And I'd always sang with my dad, who had played guitar all my life, and I'd always sang with him. But that summer I was bored, so I said, Daddy, will you teach me how to play guitar? So he did. Taught me 4 chords, and this is the first song that I learned how to play on the guitar, and the first song I ever sang in public. So, thanks to my dad. Your cheating heart will make you weep. You cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come the whole night through. Your cheating heart will tell on you when tears come down like falling rain. You toss around and call my name. You walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Your cheating heart will pine someday and crave the love you threw away. The time will come when you'll be blue. Your cheating heart will tell on you when tears come down like falling rain. You'll toss around and call my name. You walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Thank you. First time I did that in public, I forgot the words, so that's why I always have my words with me, just in case. 'Cause it's funny how you can do a song for hundreds of times and then all of a sudden your mind just goes blank. So I don't know if anybody else has had that feeling other than me and RL. Are you awake? Okay, just checking, just checking. I think I'm going to pay for this. This is the second song I ever sang in public. And I sang those 2 songs in a competition when I was 17 up in a little town in Colorado, and I actually won the competition. Had a crown and a sash, and it was very cool. But I still have it, but my crown fell apart. I wonder what that says. Can you hear that lonesome whippoorwill? He sounds too blue to fly. The midnight train is winding low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. I've never seen a night so long when time goes crawling by. The moon just went behind a cloud to hide his face and cry. Have you ever seen a robin weep when leaves began to die? That means she's lost her will to live, and I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of a falling star lights up a purple sky, and as I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry. I'm so lonesome I could cry. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to do a little song here, and then we're going to take like a 10-minute break so we can get up and stretch our legs a little bit. And excuse me. I want to thank everybody who is here tonight, and for anybody who's donated to the theater. We, of course, the last, almost 2 years have been tough on places like this, and we survived, and thanks to people like you, so we really appreciate it, and we hope you come back and keep enjoying what they have to offer in the live performances as well as other things. And I don't know, Gail, are you going to talk about our thing next Wednesday? Okay, well, after the break, I'll get Gail. She's our director, our executive director here. She's the light that we all follow. Anyway, she'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing here in the near future. But anyway, thank you for being here, and thank you for all you do for us here. This song I used to do when I could stay up past 8 or 8:30 in the evenings. That was a long time ago. I did a little single thing in a couple of bars around here, and I would do an hour's worth of music, and then I'd do this song. And if you've been to a bar, which some of you have, but people either have a drink and they're calm when they first come in, and they're listening, and then they have another drink and they get to talking, and then pretty soon nobody's listening, and you're kind of up there banging on the guitar. But I would always do this song, and if nobody laughed, I would just pack up and go home. So there you go. It's on you now. If you don't want me to come back after the break, don't laugh. Well, Johnny be fair and Johnny be fine and wants me for to wed. And I would marry Johnny, but my father up and said, I'm sad to tell you, daughter, but your mother never knew. But Johnny is a son of mine, and so is kin to you. Well, Billy be fair and Billy be fine and wants me for to wed. And I would marry Billy, but my father up and said, I'm sad to tell you, daughter, but your mother never knew. But Billy, too, is a son of mine, and so is kin to you. Well, Jimmy be fine, well, Jimmy be fair and Jimmy be fine and wants me for to wed. And I would marry Jimmy, but my father up and said, I'm sad to tell you, daughter, but your mother never knew. But Jimmy, too, is a son of mine, and so is kin to you. You've never seen a girl so sad and sorry as I was. The boys in town are all my kin, and my father is the cause. If life should thus continue, I should die a single miss. So I'll go to my mother and complain to her of this. Oh, daughter, haven't I taught you to forgive and to forget? And if your father sown his oats, well, still you needn't fret. Your father may be too bothered to all the boys in town, and still he's not the one who sired you, so marry who you will. Thank you. So if you'd like to get up and stretch your legs a little bit, I'll be back here in about 10 minutes. And Gail will give us a little update on what we're doing at the theater. Okay.
Here we go. Our first movie is... Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going to give it to you that simple. I'm hoping the graphics people put a question mark, an upside down smiley face, or something weird up there to make you go, what? The movie is based on a 1961 book by Mr. Buford. Second one, it had twists and turns and vroom vrooms. Next up, the first movie based on the book was done in 1968. It spawned 6 movies and 1 really short-lived TV series. His name came from a Buddy Hackett comedy routine. His number, oh, there's a gap. There's a twisty little hint. The number came from the uniform of Don Drydell of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And your final clue, he was called the Douglas Special. All right, there you guys go. Look it up. Figure out what you're going to do. If you already know the answer, pop it in there to the comments. We'll see you all later. And let the popcorn pop.
We'll play this song and we'll hear it. Heaven, heaven in a fixed room.
Great. Okay. You guys want to go through it one more time?
And I would marry Billy, but my father let me be. Time goes.
Okay, we are just about ready to get going again, and here I am, a surprise guest. As Cindy Rae said, I'm Gail Berry. I have been with the theater organization since it started up again in 2012 after some serious difficulties. So it's been a growth since that time, moving from 35 millimeter projectors to digital movies to our Studio 128 next door, where we used to do performances like this, now to the Palace, where we have a nice little theater here and an art area next door where we can do workshops and all kinds of good things. But as we keep finding, every time we expand into another space, it fills up, and it fills up so that, for example, here we are listening to Cindy Rae, which is a wonderful thing. But that means we can't be doing a workshop next door because we can't do that. So the board of directors has been thinking how we could deal with that. And what we have in mind is to expand by building on the rear portion of the lot that is behind this building and behind Studio 128. There's vacant lot back there, empty, nothing. And we intend to transform that empty nothing into workshops, audio and video studios, a true performance theater with an actual backstage, and a place where Cindy Rae can shine more than she does here. In furtherance of that, we were awarded a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts to do the architectural design for that, and that is in progress. And what Cindy alluded to is this Wednesday at 6:30, we'll be showing what that design looks like, and we've run it through the State Historical Preservation Office, and they're happy with it. So we've got a great design. We aren't entirely sure how you get from a design to an actual building, but we're working on it. And it's a wonderful thing to have the community support that says this has grown as it has and makes sense to continue to grow. What we will do with this facility when we have that is turn this into a heritage center in which we will be able to celebrate the ranching and Wilcox heritage through video and virtual reality technology. So you will be able to, I'm sure you guys are all up on this techies type stuff here, to put on a virtual reality headset and you can be in the branding corral or out on the roundup or taking a tour of one of the early ranches, and you are there. Virtual reality can be wonderful. It can be kind of weird too, but so we've got some cool plans that keep us tied to what Wilcox is all about. And a lot of that will celebrate the Cowboy Hall of Fame members and just a ton of ideas. So there's a lot still coming, and we're excited to do that. But right now, we're really excited to hear some more Cindy Rae. And I just want to say how lucky we are at the theater to have someone like Cindy Rae who helps us out and who is such a wonderful entertainer that we can all enjoy. So Cindy Rae.
Thank you. Oh. Oh. Sorry. I was talking to Keith Klump over here about my dad. He was asking about him and asking me if he, the old music that my dad used to do, if I remembered it. And of course, I do, but I don't do a lot of it, just mostly from, I'd say the 40s, 50s, and 60s is what I learned on. But my dad taught me how to play the guitar, and was his guitar. He's passed away 41 years ago. But I still play his guitar, and I think it's a beautiful guitar, but the more I play it, it just sounds better all the time, and I think it's my dad's soul in there somehow. But so, I dedicate this song to my dad, and it's a Vince Gill song called "The Key to Life." I'd love to hear my daddy play once again all the songs that he taught me when I was a kid. John Henry, Old Shep, and Faded Love. I fall to pieces and on the wings of a dove. Just a few chords on the guitar, that was all he knew. Then in the eyes of a child, man, his fingers flew. I practiced and I practiced till I got it right. Packed up everything, just took off one night. Well, I made it from the beer joints to the palace stage. Said the only difference is what you're getting paid. And he didn't care, everybody knew my name. Said it's all for nothing if you don't stay the same. And when he died, the preacher cried and said he's the lucky one. He's walking hand in hand with God's only son. Well, faith and common sense tell me the preacher's right, but I'd love to hear this guitar ring for me tonight. And I will honor my father with these words I sing now. As long as I remember him, he'll always be around. And the pain of losing him cuts like a Randall knife. I learned a few chords on the guitar, is the key to life. Yes, the pain of losing him cuts like a Randall knife. I learned a few chords on this guitar, is the key to life. Thank you. This next song is not really a country song, it's more of a folk song, but I used to dedicate a different song to my mother, but I've decided from now I'm going to dedicate this song to not just my mother, but my mother and my father, my whole family, my friends, because it's called The Trumpet Vine, but I like to call it The Kitchen Door. And it's a story about how you get together and you drink coffee and you sing songs, and it's just friends and family. So it's called The Trumpet Vine. The trumpet vine grew in the kitchen window and bloomed bright orange on the wall. You sat in the morning light holding a guitar as the first summer rains began to fall. Like the gentle raindrops, your words fell in the air, making things so clear as we quietly sat there. It reminded me of other times you had come before, just brought a song or just walked in through the kitchen door. It seems the truest words I ever heard from you were said at kitchen tables we have known. 'Cause somehow in that warm room with coffee on the stove, our hearts were really most at home. Sitting at a table, looking hard at you, catching up on stories of all the things we tried to do. It seems we really said the most when we didn't talk at all. Let the song speak for us like the sunlight on the wall. Now as we come and go in sunshine and in rain, some years are seen more clearly than the rest. And if it weren't for kitchen songs and mornings spent with friends, we all might lose the things we love the best. I can see you sitting there beneath the trumpet vine, sunlight through the window in the kitchen in my mind. You came when you were needed. I could not ask for more than to turn and find you walking in through the kitchen door. Thank you. We spent a lot of time sitting around the kitchen table and drinking coffee. I think my mother had coffee on going from the time she woke up in the morning until the time she went to bed at night. And they always coffee. It wasn't very strong, but it was always coffee. I'm going to dedicate this to Will Johnston in the back there. He usually gets up and plays music. We play a lot of music together over the years we have. And he didn't work out this time for him to play with me tonight. But the first time I met him, I think I met him once before, but I didn't remember him. Sorry. But I met him. I was doing a little festival, a singing thing at a festival in Pierce one November. And actually, they were paying me. But, you know, I was just playing, and this guy walked up and he said, "Can I sit in with you?" Well, who are you? And he told me, and I didn't mean anything to me, Will Johnston. I said, "Well, what do you play?" And he said, "The dobro." And I've always loved the dobro. And so I said, "Well, okay, let's try it." And he came up and played for, I don't know, several songs. But we did this song together, cold, never practiced, nothing. And it was just like we've been playing together all of our lives. Am I right, Will? And this is a song we did. Blues, stay away from me. Blues, why don't you let me be? Don't know why you keep on haunting me. Love was never meant for me. True love was never meant for me. Seems somehow we never can agree. is full of misery. Dreams are like a memory, bringing back your love that used to be. Tears, so many I can see. Years don't mean a thing to me. Time goes by and I can never be free. I miss Will on the dobro here. Blues, stay away from me. Blues, why don't you let me be? Time goes by and I can never be free. Time goes by and I can never be free. Time goes by and I will never be free. Thank you. And I have to do one for Will's wife and my good friend, Kathleen. She feeds me so good when we go over there and practice. She's always got the most wonderful food. And she's a good friend, and she helps me out so much. And so this is her favorite song that Will and I do together. And once again, I'm going to miss Will on this one, but I'll try to get through it. And it is almost the end of summertime. Summertime, and the living is easy. Catfish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Forgot what I was doing there for a minute. I need you, Will. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. You'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With Mammy and Daddy standing by. Summertime, and the living is easy. Catfish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Thank you. I'm going to do a couple more songs. This one I'm going to do for the whole community of Wilcox because I feel lucky to live here. When I moved here 51 years ago, and as you read in my Thank you. As you read in the little article in there in the magazine, I never dreamed for 1 minute that I would still be here 51 years later, because we moved around a lot. I met this lady who's new in town tonight. She said I beat her by going to one more school than she did. She went to 12 schools when she was growing up. I went to 13, so so I got her beat there. But I feel very, very lucky to have found my home here, or my hometown here in Wilcox. So, and this is a George Jones song. It's not really about a town, but it's about being lucky. So, I've had good luck and bad luck and no luck, it's true, but I always get lucky with you. I've been turned on and turned down when the bars close at 2, but I always get lucky with you. I keep 2 strikes against me most all of the time. When I'm down to a phone call, I'm minus a dime. I've had good days and bad days, but when the day is through, hey, I always get lucky with you. I keep 2 strikes against me most all of the time. When I'm down to a phone call, I'm minus a dime. There've been good days and bad days, but when the day is through, hey, I always get lucky with you. I always get lucky with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I do love Wilcox and I love Arizona. So I love Rex Allen Jr.'s song, which is one of our state songs, Arizona. So I always like to end my show with this song, and just to prove that I do love Arizona. And I love you all for being here, so thank you. I love you, Arizona. Your mountains, deserts, and streams, the rise at dusk bases, and the outlaws I see in my dreams. I love you, Arizona. Superstitions and all, the warmth you give at sunrise, your sunsets put music in a soul. Arizona, you're the magic in Arizona, you're the lifeblood of me. I love you, Arizona. Desert dust on the wind, the sage and cactus blooming, and the smell of the rain on your skin. Arizona, you're the magic in me. the lifeblood of me. Thank you all so much. And thank you for coming tonight, and be safe on your way home, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And don't forget to come back to all the rest of our live performances. So we have a lot of good stuff coming up. So we'll see you there.